and welcome to Chengi's World. I am Chengi and you, my precious one, are my world. So I'm here today with Coach Sharnie for your Saturday pleasure. Okay, so we had a bit of a situation. Say hi to Coach Sharnie, or Coach Sharnie, say hi to the angel.
Hello, ladies.
So there you have it. So basically we have been having a challenge on angels. And the girls are having to go out there. Chengi's Angels, by the way, you're welcome to join. They've been dating like crazy and putting up some the encounters they're having out there in the dating world, and really getting some coaching for free from Coach Sharnie and I to really help them master their skills. So if you're not gonna, you need to be there for September, because the challenge only lasts for September. So no freebies after that. Okie dokie. But we were having a conversation and Coach Sharnie posted something of an experience she had recently. And that is the new modern day player. And we just want to talk about that today and talk about how you can watch out for this kind of player, because this player is not your average guy. He's not out here doing things that you've got used to. So I'm just going to say over to you, Coach Sharnie. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so I met him on Tinder, and we matched straight away, and instantly he messaged me. We were all messaging back and forth. I vetted him through, the skills that I've got, just asked him some cleverly worded questions. He passed the vetting quite well. There wasn't really anything there that rang alarm bells for me. The only thing I did notice when I was vetting him is there's a couple of questions that I asked him that he answered, but then he didn't ask me back, so he wasn't saying, so what about you, all the time, which I kind of let slide. But for me, that kind of signals he's not really interested in who I am as a person when he's not saying, so what about you?
Yeah.
But he answered the questions, he passed with flying colours. He asked me out on a date, and I said, yep, okay, I'm happy to meet with you. Then he said, look, can I give you a call? And I said, yeah, cool, no problem. So we arranged a night that he was going to give me a call. He messaged me and just sort of said, look, I'm running half an hour late. I'll give you a call in another half an hour. I said, yep, that's fine. He rang. We talked. The thing that I noticed, I sort of, it rang alarm bells for me, but it wouldn't ring alarm bells for most women, because especially if you're not very experienced with dating, because I noticed he was telling me what it was I wanted to hear. So he was sort of saying to me, look, it's really hard for me to meet a woman who is spiritually evolved and is really self-aware, and then he was saying things like, I really want to be straight and upfront with a woman. I don't want to be messing around. I don't want to be wasting her time. I'm looking for a specific type of woman. I think you fit those boxes and all that sort of stuff. And I was sort of like, okay. He just, to me, it sounded like he was feeding me what it was I wanted to hear. And then he said, I'm a really deep person. And I said, okay, so what do you mean by deep? And he's like, well, I'm really into self-development. I'm really into bettering myself, and I really like to have deep conversations. Okay, no problems, cool. I said, so what things are you interested in? Like, what sort of self-development have you done? Couldn't answer that. So, and I said, oh, well, I've done this and I've been here and I've done that. And he's like, oh, amazing. That's really cool. And he's like, oh, I'm so excited that I've finally met someone like you. And, but he wasn't giving me any substance, but I was asking questions and probing and saying, so what do you mean by that? Or can you tell me a bit more about that? He couldn't ever give me any other information. Yeah. And so I knew instantly that he didn't have any depth there at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, I kind of just thought, okay, I'll just have a bit of fun with this and just sort of see what happens after it. So the next day, he rang me really early in the morning, which I kind of thought was really odd that he rang at 7 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, oh, I just want to catch you before you go to work. I just want to wish you a good day and have a really great day and all that sort of stuff. Okay, nice. But I thought, we only just spoke last night. That could have been done in a text message, but okay, all right. But then throughout the day, there was just constant contact, but it wasn't too much. It was just like, you know, he knew I was going to the dentist and getting braces. So he's like, how'd your braces go? Like, so he was remembering things. And then he was sort of saying, oh, so how'd your appointment with that go? Oh, so he was remembering what I was telling him, what I was doing that day. But then he tried to ring me again that afternoon, which I thought was really odd. And I was really busy. And I sent him a message. I said, I don't have time to talk to you right now. I'll talk to you later. But then another thing I noticed is with Facebook, when you've got someone's number in your phone, then it brings that person up in people that you may know.
Yeah.
So I saw his profile there, and so I just was just curious. So I just like went and had a look, and I noticed I could only see his profile pictures and the things that he sort of put up publicly, but I noticed some of the photos. Anyway, the next morning, he sent me a photo of him at the beach, and I thought, I've seen that photo before. That was your profile picture from back in January. And it was said, I'm at the beach and I'm just thinking about you. And I was like, oh, ding, ding, ding. This is, this guy's not genuine.
Yeah.
And then he sent me a message and said, since we're both deep, I just want to know, are you deeply as sensual? And that was an alarm bell for me too. And that's when I sort of ended the contact with him. But there were things there, and he didn't word it in a creepy, slimy sort of way around sex, but by sensual, he means sex. And so I knew he was a player, and I think he was quite clever. And I think he's figured out what it is that women like to hear. And he was feeding me that, but it was coming across quite disingenuous, and it was just empty stuff.
Yeah.
And so I just sort of wanted to make a video about the experience, because I was sort of thinking while I was like talking to him, me a few years ago when I was a dating disaster, I would have lapped up every second of it, because I was finally, this guy, he's pursuing me, he's calling me, he's spiritual, he's deep, he's got all these sorts of things going for him, and he's like being honest and upfront about what he's looking for. But there was no substance behind any of the things that he was saying.
Yeah.
So I promptly ended the conversation with him. But I really just wanted to sort of delve into this a little bit more with you, because I think there's a lot of really good lessons in it for a lot of women, because it's easy to get swept up in those men who are really telling us what we want to hear, and and you don't always get those guys who will actively pursue and will phone you and will remember when you're going to the dentist, and so it can be quite flattering, but it was all an elaborate plan to try and get me into bed. So I called him out on it. But I just think it was a really good example of being more aware of what someone's doing, and don't believe what someone's telling you.
Yeah.
Especially when you've not met them before, you don't know anything about this person. Whatever they're telling you, particularly if they're telling you stuff that you really want to hear, take it on board, but don't believe it until you know that person more.
Absolutely. And there are a few things that you said, Coach Sharnie, that I think that the girls watching need to really employ, because the thing with this, with these players, they're different types of players. You got the players that come across like they don't care, I've got other girls, so deal with it. Those players are the best ones because they're just so transparent.
Yeah.
You get the sweet talking players who, will kind of love bomb you. And those are kind of easy because you kind of think it's a bit much. Then you get the smarmy types that are just yuck. Right.
Yeah.
You get these ones that come across really decent, because these ones are a little bit more sophisticated. They're more intelligent, more intuitive with what high value women looking for. They were able to spot from your profile that you're a high value woman, the way you positioned yourself, your profile, the pictures you put. And these guys don't want to play the pick-me girls. They want to kind of come up the ladder and really kind of bed women who are high value. And I think sometimes when we're high value, we feel that being high value is enough to keep these guys away. For the most part, it's enough to keep a lot of low value players away. But this is a particular type of player, and he feeds into intuitively your mind, because he knows, you could tell from
Yeah.
your pictures and from the way you present yourself that you're smart, that you're intelligent. You know, the way that we teach women to show up online, he was obviously able to tell. So he had to come with the whole kind of deep stuff. But the three things he did that I wrote down that I think our girls can definitely learn and protect themselves. And number one is that you ask questions. A lot of women don't ask questions. You're just so flattered. Oh, he's deep like me. He says he's deep like me. How so, though? And I always say to girls and angels, ask questions. Don't, if you're not clear, get clarity. If you have to ask 4 different questions in 4 different ways, get clarity. What does he mean? What does that look like for you? What does depth mean to you? What does it look like for you? How do you get deep? How did you become deep? What's been your journey? These are the questions you asked him. And you were prepared to accept what you were hearing, which was that he was not, he didn't have any answers. Sometimes we will hear that he has no answers because we want him so badly and we're enjoying the attention. We'll be like, oh, he just couldn't answer. Maybe he thought under this. Don't make excuses. If he truly is into personal development, he should be able to tell you about a book he's read, a seminar he's been to, a personality in the personal development world that has impacted him, a quote from a book. You know, there's always evidence.
I asked him all those questions and he was just dumped on all of them. And so I knew straight away that he was a phony. But I just thought I'll just play this out a little bit and just see what comes of it.
Exactly. Ask questions. That's really important for our girls. And obviously you did that because you're a pro. A lot of our girls are not pros and they don't know to ask. So he would have probably got away with that with somebody else. And then the other thing is that your gut kept telling you something wasn't right. And, you know, you had to first trust your gut to even begin to look for the evidence, right? And so many women get that feeling, this is too good to be true. But override, right? So it was really very important that you were able to trust your gut. So girls, trust your gut. It doesn't lead you astray.
Exactly. I've waved those red flags away so many times and I've got burnt every time I do it. And so I really learned to trust that feeling. When the alarm bells go off, I trust them. And once you trust your gut and ask the questions, the evidence shows up, which is what happened with Facebook. Because we have to realize that dating is a spiritual thing, is an energy thing. And there are laws and principles that govern spirituality in the spirit realm. If you position yourself for the truth, it will emerge. You don't even have to be, Coach Sharnie didn't have to be a bitch to him and, you know, and go foraging. That there's a way that you can conduct yourself, be high value, and somehow the evidence surfaces, right? And that's where you were able to see the Facebook picture. But the lesson here is to pay attention to details. So many girls may not have done the matchup. They wouldn't have put the two together, right? You have to pay attention to the details. Pay attention to the information coming. Because I always say to the girls, dating is to collect data. That's it. Right? We're not at that courtship level where we're trying to build into we're trying to just get as much information. And number 4, it's got to match up. Right? Incongruency is the number 1 key that you're being played. When somebody's authentic and somebody is genuine, they're congruent. You know, their answers flow, their behavior flows. And so thank goodness that Coach Sharnie is a professional. She was able to trust her gut, go with all these things, ask these questions. But I know, and we wanted to do this video because we know that a lot of you girls would have fallen for that trap. And what would have happened to them, Coach Sharnie? And the other thing I really noticed, and I think this is like from working with you as well and learning on my journey, is learning the masculine and feminine energy. But to me, it was really putting me off that he was kind of almost hyper masculine in that he was very much pursuing me. He was very much taking the lead. But then whenever I spoke to him, he was very femme. And that to me really I was thinking this was just not matching up. Like you're very masculine, but yet when I speak to you, you're very feminine, and you're wanting to, you know, pretend that you're deep and that you're overly concerned about this and you're overly concerned about that. And I just sort of, to me, it was a real mismatch. But again, I think an inexperienced girl who doesn't really know anything about masculine and feminine energy may not have been able to pick up on that as well. But to me, I'm very hypervigilant now. So when he was like, 1 minute he was really, really masculine, the next minute he was really, really femme, I was thinking, stop matching up, because usually a man will be quite consistent in one energy, whether he's very femme or very masculine, but not constantly dipping in and out of both within one conversation. So I found that that was another alarm bell for me as well, because I don't know who you are. I can't decide if you're masculine or feminine, and so it just wasn't consistent for me. But again, that's not something that a really inexperienced person in the dating world, if anyone's just kind of coming into the dating realm now, would not have been able to pick that up as well. But I really noticed that.
And again, it goes back to that congruency, isn't it? The fact that he wasn't one or the other, but also paying attention. One of the things that you've clearly demonstrated for the girls is that you pay attention. And when you get the information, you know what to do with it. So I know it's easy for you and I to sit here and tell people what to do, because we're pros and we've been doing this forever and helping women for years and years and years. But you know, we want you to know that we, Coach Sharnie and myself, are available for you on a one-to-one. All you have to do is go to chengisworld.co.uk/shop and go under the coaches tab, and you can book either Coach Sharnie or myself for a discovery call. If you're feeling confused, if you're unsure if the guy you're dating falls into this category, if you're getting mixed signals and you're not sure, because sometimes, you know, it may seem like it's dodgy, but maybe with the right questioning, it might actually be genuine, and maybe your own insecurities and your own fears and your own self-sabotage patterns might be working against you, but you're not really going to know that until you get some help from a professional. So definitely do that. Join us in Chengi's Angels on Facebook. And like Coach Sharnie said, get yourself educated, get yourself a feminine mastery masterclass replay, and get educated about how to really attract the man of your dreams. Today is the day that we are having the Flirt and Date class. So if you're not on it, check the link below and get on it. We'd love to have you there. So Coach Sharnie, final words before we say goodbye?
Just, be hypervigilant, ask lots of questions. And if something is feeling off, if your gut's telling you this is not right, then my advice is to trust that, because it's usually always right.
And the lady spoken. We'll see you next next video. In the meantime, angels, take care of you. Love you lots. Mwah.
Bye.